Did you know that the greatest verse about religious freedom was written in a book revealed more than 1,400 years ago? There is no compulsion in religion. A verse that, if understood properly, would silence everyone who accuses Islam of being a religion of coercion and force. But why do we find in the same Quran verses that talk about fighting and about the fate of those who do not believe? Is there a contradiction, or are there wisdoms and contexts behind these verses that must understood first? In this episode, we will dive deep into 5 Quranic verses related to religious freedom. We will reveal their truth, understand their context, and respond to those who spread a distorted image of Islam. Let's start where every search of truth must begin, with the words of Allah, the Almighty. There is no compulsion in religion. With these few great words, the Quran establishes a firm principle. Faith cannot be forced by power, because faith is not an outward action, but a heartfelt conviction, a sincere inner direction that isn't born under threat, but in the light of freedom. Allah, who created humans and gave them reason and choice, didn't want them to be forced servants, but loving, chosen servants. If Allah wanted to make all people believers, He would have made them so. But He said, so would you compel the people to believe? It's amazing that this verse, the verse of religious freedom, wasn't revealed in Mecca during weakness, but in Medina, after Muslims became strong and had power. This rejects the claim that Islam calls for freedom only when it's weak. On the contrary, when Muslims became a state, the revelation confirmed that faith cannot be taken by force. The reason for the revelation shows the depth of mercy in Islam. Some Ansar used to force their children to enter Islam after they converted, so the divine guidance came kindly and firmly. There is no compulsion in religion. Even within the family, religion must not be forced by power. Thus, this verse declares an eternal principle. Islam doesn't know compulsion as a means of guidance, but relies on proof, invitation, and light that addresses reason and consciousness. Indeed, those who disbelieve will have a severe punishment. Some may read this verse and think Islam calls to punish non-Muslims in this life, but the reality is much deeper. This verse talks about the punishment of disbelief with Allah in the hereafter, not about how people should be treated in this world. Allah is the one who judges, and He will separate His servants on the day of judgment. We are commanded to invite with wisdom and mercy, not to judge hearts or punish people for their beliefs. The Quran clearly distinguishes between the hereafter's punishment, which is with Allah, and worldly behavior based on justice and coexistence. The Prophet, peace be upon him, lived with non-Muslims in Medina, shared daily life with them, made treats with them, and didn't punish them for their disbelief, but invited them to Islam with kind words. So disbelief, despite its seriousness in the hereafter scale, doesn't necessarily mean hostility in this world. Allah said, Allah doesn't forbid you from those who do not fight you because of religion. So the judgment is with Allah, freedom for people, and calling is our responsibility, not punishment. And whoever desires other than Islam as religion, never will it be accepted from him. This verse isn't a call to exclude others, but a divine declaration of the completeness of the message and the perfection of the path. Islam here doesn't only mean the known name of the religion, but complete submission to Allah in all He commands and forbids, outwardly and inwardly. Since Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, They all came with Islam, meaning inviting people to worship Allah alone. But Islam was completed by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to be the final message and comprehensive method for every time and place. Whoever rejects this Islam after it had reached him and chooses another way has turned away from the full truth. So Allah said, never will it be accepted from him, and he in the hereafter will be among the losers. But notice, the verse talks about acceptance by Allah, not compassion by people. It addresses hearts seeking the truth and shows that the salvation in the hereafter is only through what Allah revealed to His Prophet, peace be upon him. This is not narrowing, but an open invitation for everyone seeking the light of guidance. Islam is not only rituals. It's a comprehensive vision of life, starting from the oneness of the Creator and ending with justice among creation. Fight those who do not believe in Allah nor in the last day. This verse is often taken out of context to suggest that Islam commands fighting everyone who doesn't believe in it. But the truth is very different if we look back at the time, place, and circumstances when it was revealed. This verse was revealed in Surah At-Tawbah, a Medinian chapter, late in the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, especially when some Jewish and Christian tribes broke their treaties with the Muslims and attacked the Islamic State. Here's a talk about a political and military war between two states, not just a difference in belief. The address is to Muslims in the context of defending the state and repelling aggression, not to fight people just because they are the people of the book. And the evidence of that is that the Prophet, peace be upon him, lived with the Jewish and Christians in Medina, secured them, lived alongside them, and gave them rights and duties in the constitution of Medina. So this verse doesn't legalize open wars against non-Muslims, but speaks of organized fighting in a specific historical context against those who broke their covenant, attacked, and incited fighting against Muslims. More importantly, the verse doesn't order forcing them to convert to Islam, but says until they give the jizya willingly while they are humble, meaning they have the choice to remain in their religion by paying a tax or jizya instead of military service, which was a common practice in all states at that time. In the end, the verse is not a call to violence, but part of the state policy during wartime, and it doesn't cancel hundreds of verses that call for peace, justice, and mercy. Indeed, those who believe and those who were Jewish and Christians and Sabians, a remarkable verse. It opens the door to hope, but it requires deep understanding. So, does every Jew, Christian, or Sabian gain salvation? Is mere religious belonging enough? The Quran doesn't give general ruling without clear conditions. The verse says, whoever believes in Allah and the last day and does righteous deeds. So it is not just a matter of belonging, but true faith in God, the hereafter, and righteous deeds during the time when the message was truthful and present among them. Most scholars explain that it means those who were Jewish or Christians before the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, came, who were monotheists, believed in their Prophet's message and acted according to the truth they received, they will have their reward with their Lord. No fear will be upon them, nor will they grieve. But after the Prophet, peace be upon him, came, believing in his message became a necessary condition, because the message was completed and the proof was established. Islam doesn't deny that there was a truth in previous religions, but it believes this truth was distorted and the final message came to correct and complete it, not to cancel the mercy that came before. In times when there is much debate about Islam and many of its meaning are distorted, these verses reveal the light of truth. Islam has never been a religion of coercion or exclusion, but an invitation to hearts without compulsion, a comprehensive call for goodness, justice, mercy, and for everyone who wants to follow the path of light. Whoever wills, let them believe. Whoever wills, let them disbelieve. But the final judgment is not in human hands, but with the just and merciful who knows what is in hearts. If you liked these reflections and these meanings touched your heart, share your opinion with me in the comments, because every word from you inspires us to continue. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive the upcoming series of these episodes that reveals the beauty of this religion and the depth of its message. See you in the next episodes, God willing. Stay safe and in Allah's protection.